That music always makes me feel like I need to straighten up and be better. I hate that music. Game 6 is the money game tomorrow night in Major League Baseball. Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Baseball being very, very good to me. What happened, Bill? That was the craziest thing ever. That was I kept thinking I think of you so much. But remember what we talked about? You thought you better pitch Greinke in game 2 because if the unthinkable happened, right? Yeah. And they lost the first 2, now you got to play him. They survived game 3. James gets the win after Greinke pitches, 4.5 innings, something like that. Yeah. And Sanchez, they went up against Anibal Sanchez. That game, and I think Osuna got the save, but that was completely opposite of what you and I had any idea. I think that that if that was where it got to, who would have given the Astros much of a chance at that point? What I thought was interesting in game 1 was the idea that we are going to make Cole throw a bunch of pitches. We are going to force him to throw. Now, my question is there's about 3 layers to this question, okay?
Peel the onion.
1, obviously you do that in order to perhaps shorten his lifetime on the mound that night.
Right.
Certain number of pitches, that's as far as they want him to go. So you try to get him to load up and throw more pitches in the early innings.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a game decision, or is that a game decision within the bigger picture of let's see how many pitches we can get him to throw tonight and possibly the next time, so that if we end up going to 6 or 7, we don't have to see him again? And the last part of that question is, when you do that, in other words, when you consciously make a decision that you're going to take some pitches and try to force a pitcher to throw more pitches than he normally throws,
right,
how much does that impact your your normal at bat? In other words, if I'm going up there, I'm looking for a pitch, am I going to hesitate to swing at it because I'm trying to get this guy to throw more pitches? Does it affect your decision making at the plate when you've been told as a team that we're going to try to make this guy throw more pitches? Or am I overthinking it?
Well, a lot of that depends on the player. I think what most coaches would tell you is, if you see a ball, so if I see one coming down the middle of the plate, I'm going to swing at it regardless if I'm told to take pitches. And that's just being aggressive in nature. You're going to swing at your best pitch to hit.
Okay.
Now, if you're taking pitches, I think that's a game decision. I don't think it affects Cole throughout the series. It just affects him in that one game.
Okay.
The problem is, especially with the Astros, and the reason why you employed that strategy is because the Astros only really throw out about 2 to 3 bullpen guys.
Right. So they're limited in what they can do once you...
Not saying that they wouldn't find somebody and stretch it out a little bit just to try to cover it, but really those 2
Okay, then does that affect you later on down the series if you've only got 2 or 3 bullpen guys and they're coming in throwing a little more than they should?
That's when it all changes. So when we start getting into game 6s and 7s,
at
that point you're throwing everybody out there.
Yeah, if you got to throw the starters,
you're going to see Cole again.
Gotcha.
It should feel like all the pressure is on Strasburg, and I think there's a little bit, but I think because it feels like that, I think it's going to go the opposite.
Do you feel better about the fact that that if it is Greinke in Game 7, they're at least in Houston?
Yeah. I've said that for a little while now, that I feel like he pitches better in Houston. He seems a little bit more relaxed, but we know he gets freaked out in big moments.
Are they better at framing pitches today than they used to be?
No. Pudge Rodriguez.
Is that kind of a lost art to some degree?
Yes. Even Yachty's really good at it now. But
Yadier. I love to say that. Yadier Molina.
Even some of those guys back then were a lot better at framing the ball. And I think it's a lost art. I think a lot of guys try to pull and get that favor from the umpires, but it just doesn't work like it used to.
Carol, I'm coming home. We need to add to the family. I want to have a little Yadier running around the yard. So let's Potier for Yadier.
You're listening to Excessive Celebration on Crossover Sports, reminding you, Yadier that app.